What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Butta B-Rocka on Transparency Talks podcast. Listen, we have an amazing show today with the one and only national recording artist, actor, Mr. Dave Tolliver. How you doing today?
Oh, I can't complain. If I do, ain't nobody listening. No way.
I'm listening.
No, I wouldn't bore you with all of that. I'm excited to be here. It's always good to see y'all sing and tell. And I'm just, I'm happy to be seen, period, man.
Definitely. So I want to just go ahead and get right into the middle of things.
Let's dive in.
Yeah, let's dive on in. So Dave, I have known you for a long time, and you are an amazing singer. I know everybody wants to know, how did you get started in singing? And then we'll go into how you got signed to Gerald Levert and everything.
I had it on Do Not Disturb. I started singing, man, as a little boy, man. My family was heavily laden with singers. My grandfather was a singer, choir director. My mom was a singer, choir director. My uncle, who I call my dad, was in radio. He started me off of radio. He was also was in music. He has records that people have sampled. Black Eyed Peas sampled his stuff. All kinds of people sampled his stuff. And it just kind of fell in my lap. I started off as a little boy singing in the choir, Buzz the Palmer's Choir, at one of the most boring denominations, AME Zion. It's like an all-black Catholic church. And from there, I started doing radio, and then it just, everything else just kind of just matriculated into here I am now. You want the condensed version? I know you don't want the long version. I know we can get into that.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're gonna dive in a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
When did you form your group, and when did you get signed to Gerald Levert, or was it backwards?
No, my group, Jason and myself, we started singing together, I guess, as kids. My mom and his mom were best friends for 30 years before my mom passed away, so we were always together. And, his family was heavily laden with evangelists. His dad was a legendary evangelist, Leonard Champion. Some of the gospel greats that you'd ask today would know who his dad was. He never made it to the superstar status, but they feared him because he had this baritone voice that was ridiculous. And so the two of us, we would be together, and we just were always singing, and we sung together, and we started playing around with it. And the first person to tap into it was, my uncle, my dad uncle, I call him that. He put out a record on us. This time I was like 16. We had a group. It was called BBT, Big But Talented. We always been chunky. We wasn't fat, but we was chunky. Same difference. Just a play on the words. And we had a record out called Do the Beethoven. It was a rap record, but it was singing and rapping. And then we had another record called Girl that was on the flip side of it. And it did okay, regionally in the area, Cleveland, Ohio. Then after that, we were singing at all the talent shows, the rib burn-offs, Notice the Food places. We even sung at a couple nightclubs. I was like 16, he was 13. Then we met Gerald Levert. I started working in radio. He called me one day while I was in school, after I got home from school. He said, "You need to come in and work at the radio station." I knew how to work all the stuff. He said, he asked me, he said, "You need to come in and work tonight." That turned into a second career that lasted, from like 86 to 2000. So I would go on the road, come home. So we went to one of the disc jockey's house at the station, who was a singer. And we ended up being at the after party. Gerald comes in, everybody's like, sing for Gerald. This is 1986.
Yeah.
We sing for Gerald, and he was like, "Yo, I'ma hook y'all up." We didn't see him again for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Because at that time, that's when that album, that wasn't their first, that was their first major release, The Big Throwdown. And that, when Pop, and that My Forever Love, and I think Casanova too, they were gone. They were on the road with everybody. So, of course, we didn't get to see them. And then, believe it or not, after that, they saw me, I was dancing with this group called Johnny on the Social Crew. If if you're familiar with the Nerve DJs, Johnny O is the CEO of it. It's one of those like record pool things to do where you get, if you're a DJ in the club, you get a membership and you get service to all the records. And at the time, they were one of the first people in the country to do regional record, selling out your trunk and moving numbers through distribution companies and stuff like that. So me and another one of my homeboys were dancing for them. And so we saw Gerald coming out of the studio and he was like, yo, I got this idea for 3 big dudes that could sing, that could dance, that could blah, 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 blah. I said, cool. So he said, come up to the studio. So I called Jason and I took 2 other guys and we went up to the studio and we auditioned. Like, we got to the studio, Steve Russell from Troop was there. The Rude Boys were there. Of course, Gerald, his dad was there. Everybody was there. We did really good. The other 2 guys, not so well, as you can see. I'm gonna condense the rest because it's longer because that was like 89, and then we didn't come out till like May of 92. But the 2 of us, and those other 2 guys didn't make it. We got another guy. His name was Alfonso Doc Walker, and he just didn't. He was dope, but for him to be in the group, it would have been like living on the outside of an inside joke all the time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it just didn't work out. So, but he was dope though. And I'm gonna tell you who he was. Remember, R. Kelly had come to Atlanta recently, and it was a guy that they had on TV that he had said had cleaned out his house and robbed him. Remember that news story that came on TMZ? Mm-hmm. And he said that Rob told him to do it on purpose. That was the guy. He was the third guy. Yeah, that was him. Yeah, so, and that's it. Thus, therefore, and all that. And before that, we were called Boys from the Hood when we first signed with them. But then after that, we were like, nah, B, that name just doesn't fit. Like, I'm going to be 50 in a few days. So it's like, nah, I want to be Boys from the Hood at 50 years old. And I heard something on a ABC song, and it said something about men at large. I was like, that's it. Here it is. Whoop, there it is.
Okay, that's a very interesting story. So y'all started your song started blowing up, and y'all started touring everywhere. What was one of your most memorable moments?
Man, we talked about this last night because people have asked so many questions since him and I separated. Like, people kept calling me, asking, was he alive? Was he dead? What's he doing? Why is he not doing this? Are y'all still cool? Are y'all getting back together to do music? So last night on my Facebook, we did a 2-hour face-to-face, like, Kobe and Shaq and Magic and Isaiah did on ESPN 30 for 30. And it was real dope because both of us got a chance to go over some things that we both have forgot and just tell some stories. So, you made me forget the question. Tell me the question one more time.
Your most memorable moment.
Yeah. That's what it was. So, I just being on that road, man. There's nothing like being on that road. So even to this day, even if I'm going on a family trip, I have this thing. I'm not really like, how I think the things that happen to you come from here and the energy that you put out. Like even bad luck and like karma. People, they really focus on these things. And people think I'm crazy when I say that, but like if you sit up here and say, oh, I did this, it's gonna happen. Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to you. So I say, like on my birthday, like New Year's Eve, I always try to do something. I don't really believe that, but so like when I come home, I always like to I keep my bag packed for at least another week or two, because then maybe somebody will call and be like, yo, we got another gig for you. But most memorable moments, some of my most memorable moments, we talked about this last night. One of them was a concert we did at Hampton Coliseum. We were always touring with the 90s Rat Pack, I call it. It was Silk, H-Town, Shy, SWV, Jade. And it was always us. And it was a night where, like every night, everybody was hitting, but it just seemed like every night we was killing. And this night, it seemed like everybody had their mentors with them. And this was a night where Soul For Real was out too. They came. And Hev was with them. Keith was with Silk. And I don't know, everybody who had a mentor was with them that night. And I was like, dog, there's 12,000 people out there, dog. I said, yo, we got to come out here and smash these dudes. They would always put us toward the end of the lineup because we was that hot. We was that, not gonna say we were that hot, but we were that good. We was like, yo, we're gonna come from the back of the arena and walk through the crowd. Man, it was 12,000 people standing. We used to come out to the big payback. Boom, boom, boom. And we used to be like stepping like we was, boom, boom, boom. Man, the crowd was like, and they was going berserk. And then when we hit the stage, they was like, because it was like some people couldn't see it. They just saw the crowd moving and they heard music. And when we got to the stage, it was berserker. Yo, cats was flipping, man. But there were so many moments, and last night was, man, it was a testament. It was dope. It was really great last night. The thing we did, talking about some of our memorable moments. Yeah, that was one that stands out. But I got a bunch of. I'm long-winded too, so sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
Stamina is what it's called.
Stamina. All right. All right, Mr. Stamina, man, he's so funny. Okay, so all right, so a lot of things have changed since Gerald Levert has passed, and since you went solo. How has going solo back then and now being a solo artist changed, and how, in your transition?
I think back then I attempted to go solo when Jason and I separated, and I think it would have worked, but for the life of me, I didn't have the power of believing in me and going with me first, as opposed to believing what everybody else was saying. Hey man, they got some money and they gonna put it behind y'all, man. Find you a new member quick and go. That's you're gonna ask me what my regrets are. That I regret not fulfilling what I wanted to fulfill at that time. And now, 20 years later, I'm still trying to chase that, but I'm not really trying to chase it because I don't really have the energy to chase it, nor the legs, as you were saying. But the difference now, it's much easier because you don't even have to leave your house. If you have enough resources and things, if you have a couple good iPhones or maybe a good camera, a nice basement, a white wall, a green wall, you know how to work the editing, or you just take the footage and send it to somebody, got a couple dollars to put into some boosting some posts or doing some ads, and get you a good team or people that'll work with you. You don't even have to leave your house. Like Tony Terry, that's my big bro and I love him to death. When COVID hit, this fool was he's a workout. He's like almost 60. The dude looks like he's in his 20s body-wise.
Right.
And I admire that, you know what I'm saying? But I don't have the energy to do that. And I probably never look like that, but I mean, there's something more that I can do for myself like that if I worked out like that. Part of it is genetics too. So, my family is, a lot of them are fat. So, it's going to pour. But, to break that code, you have to do something really disciplinary to break those codes sometimes. And I haven't. So, man, I keep losing, damn it, Butter. I keep losing track of what we're talking about because I keep going over here and over there. Damn, I hate that.
It's okay. We can go with the
high. I'm not high. The viral thing. So he went out with his son when they went straight quarantine. He was walking through the park because he's a physical fitness nut, and he saw a couple getting married. And it was just them and the parishioner. And he said, hey, can I sing for you guys? He sung When I'm With You. And the video went viral. It got over 1 million something views. I said, damn. I told my wife, I said, listen, next week we're going to the park to search for some unsuspecting couple. But I didn't do that but you know what though? It probably would have worked, but then I would have gotten suspected as, chasing them. But I mean, everybody else does it, so why not me? I'm just not thirsty for likes like that. I believe that what's for me is going to be for me. And, I've had viral moments, but just not in this day and time. You know what I'm saying? They were viral moments, but not in this era of times where they are viral moments. when you need the viral moment. So,
Right.
I mean, it'll happen. I got a daughter and a son that they'll catch one when they decide to listen and take advantage of what's happening on. I can't. If you thirsty, I can't force you to drink water. I can't force you. It's right there.
Right.
So,
Right.
amen.
I actually had interviewed Tony, and that incident had just happened, so we talked about it. It was pretty cool.
His old
Um,
lucky ass. No, but Tony has been working hard, man. I get, man, he has been working hard, and that's just a true testament to, dedication, perseverance, and not letting people tell you no. And that's what people ask me, man, how have you lasted so long? I said, man, I don't believe what other people believe. I believe in me, and I believe in my value and my worth, and nobody can tell me that I'm not worth that. It's just like a woman and her value. You can accept what somebody will give you, or you can move on to where somebody's going to appreciate and show you your value. And that's what I've done. And I've found those people that appreciate and know my worth, and they pay me.
yeah.
So and that's what you have to do. You
Yeah.
do it. You don't work no regular job. Hell, you do the same thing.
Yeah.
You're successful in what you do. You know what I'm saying? So, I tell people technology is a thriller and a killer. The thriller part is that you can be, do, or say whatever, or whoever you want, and be really successful out of it. And, because life is perspective, not reality now. And so the killer part of it is that nobody's passionate about anything anymore. Hell, if I can do that too, I'm gonna just go ahead and do that. I'm going to the studio. I just pow, 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 press a button. Even as far as down to dating, everything is no passion into it. A couple guys, I don't want to throw them under the bus. You go on the road, we in the city, and we just chilling, man. I'm bored. I'm about to go on POF. I said, man, what the hell is POF? Plenty of fish. I said, what's that? He said, it's this little site that lets you know where the girls at in your area, and if they like you, we hook up. I said, what? Is that easy? I mean, I knew it was for my son when he was in high school and stuff like that, but I'm like, damn, dudes 30s, 40, and 50. At that point in time, women should have learned that lesson. But I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Da.
Amen. So, you also are an actor, and you've done a lot of plays and different things. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? When did you get started acting?
First, let's address the elephant in the room, because
Okay.
you didn't hire me for your play, and so I'm still carrying a grudge for that. And no, I'm joking. But I was very happy for your play, and I didn't get a chance to make it to it either. I've been in about 40 plays, man. I started doing plays, when things started to slow down that was the thing in the late 90s. When the plays started when the music started to slow down, then you jumped on a play.
Mm-hmm.
But then when the writers went on strike, then all the actors, all the B and C actors from Hollywood start taking all the jobs. And unless you were like a more popular R&B guy, you really didn't get. But I mean, for me, it's good money, and it's to me, it's, I don't know, man. I could take one and leave the other one, and leave one and take the other one. I love acting, and I love acting and singing. Like I've been in a couple plays where they didn't have me singing. I'm like, dude, this is a waste of my time. I mean, the money was good, but it's like, man, if I'm not gonna be in the play singing, what is the point?
Yeah.
Like, so, but I've done like about 40 plays. I've acted with some great people. I've been with Delma from Good Times, Dave Hollister, of course, Gerald and Sean Levert. And at one point, it seemed like me and Sean were in so many plays together. I was either his little brother, ironic, his little brother, or I was either his henchman. I've had some blessed experience. Mary, Erica from Mary, Nikki Gilbert from Brown, Stone, Monifa, a bunch of people, man. I've had a blessed experience with the plays, and I was telling Tony the other day, I said, man, it's time for us to start working for cash. We need to write our own joints, man, like you did.
Yeah.
That's why you don't have to work, because you take the initiative to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes as artists, we get spoiled, man, and we still expect people to just come to us and do blah blah. But I'm at this point, like, man, I got one now that's cold. It's kind of like a love story called Rehab. You want to write it, you can have it.
Okay.
It's kind of a true story too.
One of the things that I definitely had to learn early on, because I don't know if you noticed, I had 2 deals on the table, one with Warner and one with Sony, and I got into a car accident which left me drinking from a straw for 6 months. And
What?
it took me a year to come back out. And when I came back out, the deals were no longer on the table. And the third company that wanted to sign me, Island Records, um, they just told me straight up, Butta, you've missed the boat. They was now signing 14 and 15-year-olds, and I'm 18. So, I kind of, started doing the background thing. I started doing stuff for TLC, did a lot of stuff over at DARP Studios and everything. But one of the things that I had to realize is, okay, you can't let somebody else determine, your success. And I might not have that major label behind me, but there's so many things that you can do. To get out there. So since
And you've mastered
2007,
that.
yeah, since
That's what I'm
2007,
saying. You've mastered
I'm
it.
always gone overseas. I start getting it, and I have done just as many shows as a major, except I don't have to pay them to have to pay a major. And I mean, from performing for prime ministers and ambassadors. I mean, I've
See, I
done
need
a
I
lot
need
of
that
major
plug.
shows.
I
Yeah.
need that plug. I need that plug. I want to go overseas because if I go overseas, I probably ain't coming back. I'm
You know what's
serious.
so funny to me? I've had, I know a lot of national recording artists. I've had some of them ask me, "How am I getting overseas, and can I help them get overseas?" And I'm like, "Dude, you've had your song on Billboard. You've had this, and that's something
You
that
know
I've
they
never
they
had."
call, but they balk. It's probably just not that. A lot of times it's that middleman that they
Yeah,
have calling, and they don't really have the actual, finger to pull the trigger on the deposit or the actual situation.
right,
It's like that man sitting next to the man sitting next to the goddamn man. You know what I'm
right,
saying? That ain't
right,
really, it ain't really
right.
that guy. Yeah, man. He really that. Yeah, I hang out with him in his head. I really hang. The truth is, in the bubble over his head, say I really just hang out with him. I really don't have no say so. But man, it'd be dope to be telling people I talked to this dude, and then make up a story that
Right.
this happened, and dude, go back and tell your man, no, don't f with him, man. He da 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 da. That's what they do,
Yeah.
and that's how the game get ruined, man. That's why I've learned the hard way to get my team tight, man. And I've just because of trust issues and things that I've seen, I'm at about to be 50 in a few days. Have just really been able to let them reins go, just because of all the things that I've been through, man. But hey,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. uh, so you've had some health scares. Can you talk about that?
How you know? No, I know you know. Well, I've the latest thing I had like one, and that was because I had like a hip surgery, man. And when I woke up from that hip surgery, I had no feeling or movement like in one of my legs, and like I could do this, but I couldn't move my foot, and I'm like, yo, I'm saying. But then I also had like blood clot infection and something called a weeping wound. I was like, what the hell? So weeping wound is where they take the staples or the stitches out, but no matter what they do, it keeps bleeding. It's nothing they can do. It just keeps bleeding. So I'm basically wearing like a diaper to bed, like walking around with this shit on, like taped onto my side because I'm bleeding all day. It's
Wow.
just bleeding. It was a bloody. I would wake up in a pool of blood. I'm like, dogs, and they saying it was fluid or some stuff like that. So then I go to rehab from the hospital. Then that's when I get the infection. And it's probably because I was an ambulatory patient. I didn't need much help, so they would have me go to the shower because I could go in there. I would, I'm basically learning how to walk again. I go to the shower. I go to the bathroom in the morning. It looked like a crime scene because there's blood everywhere. I get in the shower, come back, sit down. Now they do have on gloves, but the gloves are touching everything, and they're giving me towels and linen, and it's sitting on my wound, and I'm waiting to get it changed. That's probably how I picked up the infection.
Mm-hmm.
They had me on like, 2 or 3 different intravenous antibiotics. Then they said, well, it's swollen. I'm like, well, hell, I ain't been on it. They look, and there's 2 blood clots in the bottom of my leg. I'm like, what the fiddlesticks?
Wow.
So, yeah, it was a lot, man. And the only thing they did was give me antibiotics and keep me high all day. It was like I was like on 2 or 3 different painkillers, muscle relaxers, anti-inflammatories. It was like, wake up, Mr. Tolliver, it's time for breakfast. Okay, Mr. Tolliver, it's time for you to wash your ass. Okay, it's time for therapy. Okay, it's time for lunch. Okay, it's time for therapy again. Okay, it's time for dinner. Okay, Mr. Tolliver, time for meds, time for bed. That was my life for like 43 days, like almost 2 months, man. And it was disparaging, man. I had to start going to therapy because, you know, I couldn't work, I couldn't sit for long periods of time. I couldn't
Right.
stand for long periods of time. I'm thankful to be back where I'm not because I fought, but I still went through these issues, man. And,
Yeah.
being a strong person most of the time, you know, there aren't many people that I can call on, if any, to help me when I'm in a situation. So 9.999, like a condom out of 10, I'm the one that is the one that holds everybody else down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I, I I realized I was chosen for this a long time ago, but I've had some broken moments, especially over this. Like I just lost my sister in December, and that after losing my mother, both my grandmothers, both my grandfathers, my best friend 2 years ago, another one of my best friends like 3 weeks after my sister. It's just been so much shit, and then the ups and downs, especially with the career, and then with this injury. I didn't work for like 2.5 years, so you can just
Yeah.
imagine the things I was going through mentally, emotionally, financially. Hell, I mean, since we being transparent, started driving Uber. I did. I ain't
Yeah.
had no choice
Yeah.
because nobody would book me. But
Yeah.
if you had given me that overseas plug, they would have accepted me because my voice was still impeccable. But I ain't have a choice, like, because I'm a man, and it's not that I don't have pride issues. Like, I don't care what people think. I told people the other day on Instagram, I said, Black lives don't matter until Black people realize lives matter. If you don't realize the value in yourself, no matter if you're fat, skinny, acne, pretty skin, tall, thin, short, if you don't realize the value in you, you will never be happy. You'll never be satisfied. You'll never go anywhere. You will stay complacent. You will not be a fighter. You will lose. You will.
Right.
And you have to. And I tell them, I said, if I did not believe in myself, if I did not love myself, or if you guys weren't around and I knew that I had to get up every day and fight, I probably would never get out of bed. I'd
Yeah.
just sit here and pop these Percocets and be A-okay. But when I got these other 3-4 lies that came in my life, I had to double it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, man, that hell scared the hell out of me because I was spared for a reason. And I realized that I'm chosen. And I try to spread as much positivity as I can. I try to be a light, a beacon for folks, not to the point where I'm preaching God or the gospel, but I'm just preaching, not even, I guess if you want to call it preaching, call it preaching, but where I'm just trying to um, emit positivity to people, man. Like I even did my sister's eulogy. And the eulogy wasn't for, it was about her, but it was for everybody in that room, man. Because right now we in trouble. And we were in trouble before George Floyd. And like, I feel like my generation kind of dropped the ball from our mothers and our grandparents, all the stuff they went through. We dropped the ball because we kind of got tired of hearing it or kind of dealing with it. So we like, blah, we ain't gonna be like that. We not gonna be forceful or corporal punishment or this, that, and the third. And it wasn't just the Blacks, but it was everybody. So in turn, we all got lenient with our kids, and we wanted to make this better place for them and make it easier for them. And if they don't get it before we all check out, they're gonna be screwed. If they don't get it before we get out of here, they're gonna be screwed because it ain't no turning back. It's like when I made that post about the Black lives, a lot of people were mad, but the majority of people were with me. But then there was a lady from Cleveland. She said, I understand my son was killed by a cop and 7 people were murdered here yesterday or hurt by Black people here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then the shooting this past week in Cleveland, in Atlanta, the shootings and stuff. And then they're trying to say that don't be quick to say it's Black on Black. It could be other people inciting riots and different stuff like that. But I don't know. You can't believe everything you see on TV. You can't believe everything you hear.
Right.
Well, how many of us are doing research and checking things out? I saw a video yesterday. My nephew, the Michael Levert, Gerald's nephew, put up, and it schooled me on a lot of things. But it was something that I have been I knew it was like, you don't, a lot of times what's good going forward is that a lot of our young Black youth, especially how a lot of these artists are becoming millionaires and some of them billionaires now, the next generation of young Blacks will come inheriting wealth. And that's how a lot of them come, that's how a lot of people come through. You know, our generation, we come from slavery and it's passed down. A lot of us don't own anything. It comes from ownership and owning land and owning realty and different stuff like that. How many of our ancestors and relatives had it?
Right, right.
So, I mean, you know,
Well,
I got all off track. I'm sorry.
oh no, it's fine. Well, first of all, sorry
I'm
again that
sexy.
you're not your sister. Second, you know, I can definitely relate to your injury and how it takes a mental and emotional toll on you, financial toll and everything, because you know I had surgery on my knee and couldn't walk, and I
Knees
was
are good
out
though.
for over a year, literally.
Yeah.
And when this is all that you do, and all of a sudden your world is turned upside down, and but the bills still come, you're sitting there like, oh snap. So
And they wouldn't give me disability.
yeah,
3 times I applied. They wouldn't do it.
wow. I'm
Not at all.
surprised you didn't get disability. But yeah, so I definitely can relate, because like what I had to get people to understand is, okay, yeah, I can't tour, you know, and I can't dance and everything, because a lot of the stuff that I would get overseas is me singing and dancing. So of course you used to seeing that package, you know, and
I
everything.
like
And you're
that
not trying
package.
to, huh?
I like that package. Go ahead.
Well, you messing me
I'm
up.
sorry.
What I was trying to say is that I had a rough time with it as well, but I understood that it takes, hold on. Disability is really hard to get most of the time. Somebody just wrote on here.
Yeah, no doubt it is.
Yeah.
I forgot the people was listening. Oops, I'm all crazy. I forgot that. What's up, people? I forgot all about that. We transparent. Everything I'm saying is real. The package comment and everything is real. So hey.
And then Richard said, our test is a testimony to help others, and thank you for sharing.
Man, that's what I do, man. And you know, sometimes, especially my daughter, I don't get these teenagers today, even what is that, Generation Z and 22 and all. I don't get them. Like I pray that they get it before we get out of here. I just do. They don't understand sometimes why I'm on the phone all the time talking to people or helping people. You know, I realized that I have been chosen not to be in the pulpit, but to give it to people from a street point of view, a real point of view, not to quote scriptures and stuff to people all the time, which is fine if that's what you do, but to give it to them with my music, with my energy, with my, for some reason, I have been blessed to come up with words and metaphors and similes quick, fast to explain situations to people. And they be like, man, where you get that? I'll be like, man, I don't know. You know where I got it from. So, you know, I appreciate that.
Karen Bryant said her daughter is legally blind, and they denied her for the past 8 years.
That's bull crap.
Yeah, that is.
That's bull. If you can't earn in this country and you're not a pilfer or somebody, a vagabond or somebody, you know, trying to live in the streets, it seems like that's where they want you. Because if you're in the streets and you know no worth to this country, then you know they can do whatever they want to you. They can put you in these little areas or have you living on the street to desecrate the neighborhoods, make it look bad, you know. But yet we sending money and food and all kinds of stuff for support for the homeless in other countries. That's ass backwards. Hello, McFly, anybody home? We got our own problems here. Clean up your own house first.
Yeah.
But you know what that's about, so it is what it is, man.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so your daughter also sings. I know that's a proud moment. I heard some of her stuff. You have your own show, the Dave Tolliver Show.
Mm-hmm.
And you had me on there, and you introduce a lot of artists and play a lot of artists that a lot of people haven't heard of, and some people have, but you expose a lot of different artists and everything. And I had a chance to hear your daughter. Actually, I've seen her when I came to one of your shows too. She sung. You had her sing in front of.
Yeah, she's already like in total diva mode, and I get it. And I, I'm not gonna say we, but I complain about it, but I created the monsters. We created the monsters that we complain and moan about, and I just only hope that they take the stuff that I taught them and apply it. And I always tell them, I say, hey, I didn't have great examples of parenthood, especially being a dad. I'm doing the best I can. I said, anything you see that I do that you think is good, apply it. And anything that you think is bad that I do, I said, think about it first.
Right.
You being a brat, or you tripping because I didn't let you get your way, or you shot at me and I shot back at you, you couldn't take it. Just be honest about it, So, but she good for that. But she's amazing, and I made sure I knew she was gonna come out with a gift, because all I did was sing in the belly, and I stayed home with her for the first 6 months. I did everything, everything, and the washing, the late night feedings. I did everything for the first 6 months. Played classical music. We took naps together, the whole nine. And she got it. And her mom, she doesn't have a voice like that. I said, I got this. And now she been out singing me since she was about 9 or 10 years old. She does some things that I can't do. She does them runs and stuff like you do. I can't do
that. Now, how old is your daughter?
She's 14 now.
14 now. And where can people hear her music at?
Well, she has her music on SoundCloud. We're getting ready to release it. She got a bunch of records written and tracked out. I'm going to get her own little setup in her room so she can, she goes to Landmark Christian School, and they have a music academy. She was one of the reasons why they set up this whole academy there for her, and some students there. And she's learning, she already knew how to record herself on the Pro Tools, but they're teaching her how to produce and take the racks, put the music into the Pro Tools, produce the track, mix and master. So she's doing all of that. And, the teachers are really high on her. We talked the other day, he was like, man, don't tell nobody, but I want to work with your daughter. And there's a couple other people, he's heavy he comes from LA, so he's heavy into film placements and stuff like that. So he's like, man, Danae just has something special. I want to work with her, and we'll work out the terms and all that stuff. But her stuff is on SoundCloud. It's DNA _14. DNA _14 is where you can find a couple records she has right now. But she got a plethora of records up in her room. I was on, do this. And I'm not on her like that, but it's just a couple of times I've been like, go practice your piano. She said, look, just bring your big ass in here. Let me show you something.
Yeah.
And I was like this.
Yeah.
They all charted out. The music is charted out. The song, I was like,
wow.
Yeah. So
yeah, the new generation of our kids, they super succeed everything that we're doing, because my son is a freaking beast. From playing drums, he's playing keys now. Of course, he reads music. He's teaching other people. He's singing, rapping. He can edit. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
That's dope.
But let me jump over to one of these. Nikki said, hey, Dave and Butta. Dave, thank you for remaking Gerald's song. You did a great job. You did. It was really good.
Thank you. I tried to stay inside the lines, but then put my flavor on it, man. I'm still working that joint. I'm still going, it's a bunch of visuals that I need to catch up on, like videos and stuff like that. I have somebody that said, man, let me just do these videos for you. Mm-hmm. And I've been sitting on my hands. But I'm like I said, I still got the drive. It's just like you get a little procrastinatory, if that's a word. Procrastinative, whatever the word is. That was one of I'm doing these 50 facts in 50 days on my IG, and I think that was fact 26 or 27. That sometimes I'm a procrastinator. I haven't procrastinated to the point where I've lost anything, but I've missed a couple people's last breaths. My grandma was like, baby, you need to go see Mr. Harris. You don't know he got that cancer. You better go see him. He love you. And I missed it, and a couple times. And I make it a point to always go visit, call. I don't do Facebook happy birthdays without calling and stuff. I don't.
Yeah, you are definitely a true friend. I can definitely attest to that, because anytime I've ever called you or needed you, or you just called to check up on me, you got into my butt a few times talking about I ain't check up on you. Are you open to working with other artists, is particularly what the younger generation? Are you open to listen to their songs? Or
Yeah, I definitely do, man. Cats are always trying to charge people for stuff, and I just don't. I'll always listen. I'm always open to listen and stuff like that. But if I have to come out, come to the box and do some work, man, it might cost you a little bit, but it ain't gonna cost you thousands of dollars unless we're doing like a whole project.
right?
And we got to really sit down and talk deposit up front, because that's time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And depending upon the talent level, it is really going to determine whether I'm motivated to do it or not, because I don't believe in taking people's money. I know there are people here with prestigious artist development schools, and they'll just take you and take your money for months and years at a time. And I can't do that. That's not the way that we should do things. And I can't.
yeah,
I just want. There have been many of vocal coaching jobs I've turned down because I was like, no, I don't have the time. My schedule, I can't do it.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
it is what it is. Yeah. But I'd love to help. I like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony, but everybody can sing. So no.
So, your Dave Tolliver show, like I said, I know that you highlight additional artists and everything, and you let the crowd, not necessarily, they're not judging, saying, "Oh, you whack," that type of stuff, but you let
No, we don't do that.
the crowd love upon each other, and you show support for each of the artists, and you just introduce, new music and everything. How can someone have you, promote their song or listen to their song?
Just send it to the Dave Tolliver Show at gmail.com. And you can post that, the Dave Tolliver Show at gmail.com. The Dave, DAVE, TOLLI, V as in Victor, ER show at gmail.com, man. And we get it popping, man. That music review was for a one-time thing, but it went off so well. I might do it more. So many people are doing it and they charging cats. I just like, you got like 4 or 5 people on your thing and you're charging people $25 for what? Who's gonna hear it? That's like these young cats going to these open mics and you charging them $15, $10. I mean, I get it, but ain't nobody in there gonna sign them. Who else? They performing for artists. If that's the case, they could have just went on live at home for the same thing, or just did it in the mirror, because like you in front of artists, ain't nothing coming out of it. So you might just be practicing at home. You know what I mean? But one thing I do notice here about the difference in at home, and it's kind of changed from Cleveland here, is that I do see, especially because I love hip hop, so in the independent era realms and stuff, the guys they do kind of support each other, and I don't see a lot of hating. If they do, they say it behind closed doors. But I see, cats grooving and supporting and dapping and all kinds of stuff. So it is what it is. What a TI is.
What a TI is. So, Dave, you did something that I also did recently. I think yours was maybe 2 years ago. You graduated.
Oh yeah.
What did you graduate?
All in my business.
I know.
So I graduated from Strayer. It took me a long time because I started in '88 in college, and then I stopped because, of course, my life took me another era. But when I got here to Cleveland, to Atlanta, I'm sorry, I miss Cleveland so much. I started in 06 in school, and it took me to 18, off and on, stopped for a bunch. About 7 years I stopped, then came back, and I said, man, let me finish this joint. And I graduated in 18 with a degree in business admin with a concentration in marketing.
That's hot. That's really dope. It's so hard to go to school because you're so busy. That was one of the things with me. I have a degree in computer information systems that I got. I went to school when I graduated from high school. I went straight to college, but that was for my mom. She was like, "Oh, you gotta have something to fall back on." I'm like, "Not really. I don't. If I go into this, that's gonna make me set my mind to, okay, I have to do this, and that I'll do this thing." So I didn't want to go back to school. But when I was going through my divorce, I went back to school and, to give me something to keep my mind off of going through my divorce or whatever. So I have another degree in PR and marketing, another,
Damn.
yeah, magna cum laude,
Hallelujah. Thank ya.
yeah, right. But I'm saying all that to say it. I had to do it online. I had to do it online because I was touring and I was doing all this stuff, and it
Yeah, that's
became
how I
really
did it.
hard for me to be able to commit. Thankfully, I graduated all honors and all that type of stuff, but I definitely understand why you had to stop and go because you had a career where you was on the road. I mean, I was on the road
Mhm.
too, but I
Yeah.
could do my stuff online. You did yours in class?
I did mine online. Wasn't no way I was going to class
Oh, okay.
because you never know. You never knew when something came up and I had to boom at the last
Yeah.
minute, boom at the
Yeah.
last minute.
Yeah.
And that class attendance part of that grade, I'd have failed.
Yeah, and that makes it harder when you do it online. I had to do it online too, which took a whole lot of commitment. I would literally be overseas. The internet is horrible, so I would have to do the homework prior to. I had to do what I had to do, to make sure that I passed and everything. But it's serious to go back to school, so I commend you for.
Yeah. I've been thinking about going back and getting that master's, but I'm like, I don't know, man.
They didn't hit me up too. I'm like,
I don't know, dog. I don't know, Thani.
yeah, yeah, I don't know either. So, what projects are you working on right now?
Right now, I'm getting ready to touch on some Southern Soul a little bit. I got a record getting ready to come out. It's called Love Like This, and another one called Get to You, which I call the working woman's anthem. I'm messing with Calvin Richardson and them cats, Sir Charles and all them. I'm gonna go over there and see if I could, steal some of that money they making over there. Willie Clayton and them, go hang out with them for a little bit. Still
Yeah.
gonna do my R&B. I'm gonna have to release some R&B records, get my daughter together, and also, like, for those of you, you want to see a good interview, Jason and myself, my original member, we're getting back together to do a new record. Actually, I'm on my way to Ohio tonight or first thing in the morning. We'll be in the studio Monday and Tuesday to do a brand new record. So get ready for that.
That's gonna
Record,
be
photo
good.
shoot, video shoot, all this week. And it's going down. So y'all get ready for that because I'm excited. He's excited. We're excited. Wouldn't you like to be excited too?
Did that come about after y'all did y'all interview yesterday?
We had been talking about it, and we were supposed to start it last year, but the end of the year, I had like this bad accident. Somebody hit me and my wife from the back, which threw me back like a year of rehab. Boom, I was like, ah. Then 3 weeks later, my sister passes. Then 3 weeks later, one of my best homies passes.
Right.
So she had 5 kids, so I'm back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Making sure they good, trying to get them together. Then we get here, and here comes COVID, funky ass. And I'm like, man, just let me get my head together and
Right.
let's get through this. And so I was able this week. I was like, yo, I'm coming. Set the studio up. So time is booked. We recording, and it's going down.
All right. So speaking of COVID, I just got like 2 more questions. But speaking of
Yeah.
COVID, how have you been coping with COVID? COVID has definitely been, it's been a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing is that I'm not able to actually get back out there. I've already been sitting out for for over a year. I literally did physical therapy 3 times a week for a whole hour for an entire year on my knee, and I had dislocated my shoulder as well. So I had a lot of shows lined up. I officially got
Me
released
too.
in April, so I had a lot of shows lined up that I was looking forward to. But knowing me, how hard I used to go at it, I probably would have went too hard too soon. Even though it was a year that I set out, I think I would have overdid it.
Yeah, it's like that because this thing is addictive, and I don't know, man. It's you sometimes you feel like you want to quit, but it's hard. You can't let it go.
Yeah.
You can't let it go. So I get it. I went back from an injury too quick too, and I ended up paying for it. But man, I don't know, man. It's just the thing, man. This thing here is so addictive.
Yeah.
But for me, I just stayed my ass in the house, and I did a couple concerts online.
Right.
I just went to the store and I just stayed in the house, man. I wasn't going nowhere. You know, even though I have my theories, I'm just not willing to test it.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to test it. I'd rather be safe than sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Richard said, people see our glory but don't know our story. Great conversation, Dave. Your glory
Man,
is
thank you.
that keep the faith.
Oh man, I'm holding on to my faith like it was the last piece of chicken at a cookout.
And Sparkle said protection. She said something else too, and she said keep praying for protection and everything. So last thing, how can people find you?
I'm everywhere. Dave Tolliver on Facebook. Dave Men at Large on Instagram and Twitter. Dave Men at Large on Instagram and Twitter. And music everywhere, solo music. Dave Tolliver is everywhere. Men at Large, go get that old catalog. It's out there. It's on all streaming platforms.
Oh, girl, baby, it's time for me to give you all the love you need. Yeah. Now, baby, I know that you deserve the best. And I can't keep treating you like I treated the